Hello guys, in this video we are going to continue our discussion regarding capacitors. So in the previous video we have already seen that the energy which we have in a capacitor that can be confined by using more than one conductor. Okay, and the three standard setups also we have seen. First one was parallel plate capacitor, second was spherical capacitor in which we had two concentric spheres, and the third one was cylindrical capacitor in which we had two concentric cylinders. Okay, but the detailed discussion in our course is only regarding parallel plate capacitor. Okay, so we already know that there is energy confined in parallel plate capacitor. Now let us try to understand how much energy is confined in the parallel plate capacitor. So next topic will be energy in parallel plate capacitor. Parallel plate capacitor. Do not read this 11. Okay, it is parallel. It is symbol of parallel. Okay, energy in parallel plate capacitor. So why is there energy in this capacitor? First try to understand why we have energy stored over here. The energy is getting stored over here because to make this setup we need to do some work to make this setup. So let's say the finally it becomes plus q and this becomes minus q. So it was not like this initially there was no charge at t equal to 0. If you see, at t equal to 0 the condition was something like this. Over here also zero charge, over here also zero charge. This was the condition for t equal to 0. Okay, this is the condition for t equals to steady state. This is the condition for t equal to infinity. This is also known as steady state. What is steady state? Steady state is that state when the system has become steady. The charges have accumulated whatever they were used to, like whatever they were supposed to accumulate. Everything is being done. Okay. So this final state is also known as steady state. This final state is also known as steady state, and it will take a long time. Okay. So theoretically we can write it in as infinity. Okay, so initially the setup was something like this and finally it has become like this. But to make this setup like this, we have taken charge from the right side plate and we have accumulated it on the left side plate. This is what we have done, right? That is why right side plate has become minus q and the left side plate has become plus q. Now as we start accumulating charge, as we start taking charge from this plate and start accumulating on this plate, what will happen is the charge on this plate will increase and charge on this plate will decrease. Okay, and because of that accumulation of charge there will be one voltage difference which will come between these two plates. Now after that when we move the charge, then we'll have to do some work. Okay, so initially for moving this dq charge we don't have to do any work, but as soon as there is charge on these plates there will be voltage difference, and then if we move charge across this voltage difference then we will have to do work, and this is the work which is going to be stored in the capacitor. So what we are doing over here is we are taking charge from right side plate and putting it on the left side plate. By in doing this, in this process what we are doing is we are doing the work, and this work done by us is getting stored in the capacitor in form of electric field. This energy is going to be stored in the capacitor in form of electric field. Okay, so let us take a condition in between these two where the charge has become small q on the plates. Okay, let us take one condition in between these. Okay, some random time t, okay, where the charge over here has become plus q, small q, and over here it has become minus q. Now if I take this dq charge across these, then I have to do work, and that work will be given by this dq charge multiplied by the potential difference between these two plates. The potential difference between these two plates will be how much? V is equals to q by c. Q is cv or c is q by v, so v will become equal to q by c. So voltage difference between these two plates, let us write it as v dash, will be given by q by c. C is the capacitance, q is the charge which has been developed. Now in taking this dq charge from right side plate to left side plate, there will be a small work done. This small work done dw can be written as dq multiplied by this q by c, which is the voltage. Work done is equals to q into v. Try to recall electrostatics. Okay, so work done, this small work done in taking this dq charge will be dq multiplied by q by c. We cannot directly write total charge capital Q multiplied by total voltage capital Q by c. Why we cannot do that? Because when we are taking the charges, the voltage is continuously changing. It is varying. As the charge accumulated is increasing, the voltage is varying. Hence, the work done for each dq charge will be different. So we cannot do it directly. We'll have to use calculus. So for this situation, work done, the small work done will be dq into q by c. If we want to find out total work done, we simply have to integrate this term. This 1 by c will be constant. So it will come out q multiplied by dq. Initially the charge was 0. Finally the charge has become plus q. This total q, capital Q. So over here, if you integrate this, it will become q square by 2. Then if you substitute the limits, then it will become q square, capital Q square divided by 2c. So this is the formula for energy stored in the capacitor, q square by 2c. This is the formula for energy stored in the capacitor, which is also equal to the work done in making this setup, and this is how we can derive the energy. Now we already know that q is equals to c into v. So if we substitute q is equal to cv over here, we will get one more formula in terms of voltage. That formula will be half cv square. If you substitute q is equal to cv, then we get one more formula, which is half cv square. So these are the two formulas which we will be using to find out energy stored in the capacitor. Okay. Now next point which we are going to discuss over here is energy stored per unit volume. Okay, so energy stored we have already figured out, which is half cv square. So if we want to find what is the energy per unit volume or energy density, what we will do? We will have to divide this energy by volume. Okay, let us check how to derive that expression. So energy density. So energy density, for that I will first write energy is equals to half cv square. Okay, energy equals to half cv square. Now this c over here can be written as epsilon naught a by d. For parallel plate capacitor, it can be written as epsilon naught a by d. And this voltage, this v, can be written as electric field. This voltage can be written as electric field into d, where d is the gap between the two plates of the capacitor. Okay, let us write this energy with some other color. Wait, this is energy. Purple color E is energy and red color E is electric field. Okay, don't get confused. Okay, so if you solve this, what will you get? If you solve this, you'll get 1d will cancel that d square. Okay, so it will become half epsilon naught a e square d. Half epsilon naught a e square d. Now if you combine this a and d, it will form volume. This area of the plate multiplied by the gap between these plates will give me the total volume. It will give me this total volume between the plates. Okay, it will give me the total volume between the plates. So now what I can do is I can just take this volume on the left hand side. So I will get energy per unit volume equals to half epsilon naught e square. And this value is not only for capacitor. Wherever we have electric field, in whichever setup we have electric field, the energy per unit volume, the energy density will be constant. What will be the value? It will be, the energy density will be half epsilon naught e square. The energy density will be half epsilon naught e square. Okay. So energy density will become half epsilon naught E square, half epsilon naught E square. Okay, so this is how you can derive energy density, and this is not only applicable for capacitor, it will be applicable for any setup having electric field. The energy density will remain half epsilon naught E square. Okay, it will remain half epsilon naught E square. Okay, the next point which we are going to discuss is how in reality this charging takes place. Okay, we are not going to discuss that in detail right now, but we are going to take a brief idea about how exactly this charging of capacitor takes place. See, over here what I have done is I have simply assumed that I am taking charge from right plate and putting it on the left plate, but this is not actually what is happening, right? I cannot put it by my hands. I have to use something else. I have to use some method. Okay, the method which I use is I just connect a battery. That's it. If you connect a battery, battery will do this work for you. This work which you have figured out over here, q square by 2c, that is done by battery, and this is the work which will be stored in form of energy in a capacitor. Okay, so let us check out that setup. So the basic diagram will look something like this. There will be a resistor, there will be a capacitor, and then there will be a battery. This is a switch. This is the basic setup. Okay, at t equal to 0 I will close the switch. At t equal to 0 I will close the switch. So this is the condition for switch. This is the condition for t equal to 0. This will be the condition for t equals to 0. Okay, resistance let us take as R, capacitance let us take as C, voltage over here let us assume V. Okay, so at t equal to 0 this is my setup. At t equal to 0 this is my setup, and over here the capacitor will be uncharged. At t equal to 0 capacitor will be uncharged. Capacitor is uncharged. At t equal to 0 initially the capacitor is uncharged. Over here what I will do is, let us assume 0 potential over here, so it will be 0 potential over here also. Capacitor does not have any charge, so it will become V is equal to Q by C. So V is equal to Q by C means the voltage across capacitor is 0. So over here also it will become 0 volt. Over here also it will become 0 volt, and over here it will become V volt, and over here also it is V volt. So the voltage difference between this resistor is V. So the current flowing over here will be simply V by R. The current flowing over here will be V by R. The current flowing over here will be V by R. Let us write it separately. The current flowing over here at t equal to 0 is simply V by R. This is the condition for t equal to 0. This will be the condition for t equals to 0. If I take a condition after some random t time, let us draw one more circuit. So after some random t time, the circuit will look something like this. At any random t time, this R will remain R, this C capacitance will remain C, but over here one charge will be developed. Let us assume this charge to be plus small q and this one minus small q. Okay, this is the charge developed on this capacitor in between this charging process. Okay, this is not the final charge, it is some intermediate charge. Okay, and this voltage was V. Okay, again I'll do that same thing. 0 over here, 0 over here. Voltage across this capacitor is right now, it is not 0. Now it will be this small q divided by C. So over here the voltage will become Q by C. The voltage at this point will become Q by C. Okay, and over here it will be, at this point it will be V, at this point also it will be V. So in this setup, the voltage across the resistor is V minus Q by C. The potential difference delta V across resistor is now V minus Q by C. So current flowing in this circuit will be V minus Q by C divided by R. The current flowing in this circuit is V minus Q by C divided by R. Now this current obviously is lesser than V by R. Okay, because we have subtracted Q by C factor from V, right? So what you can say over here is that the current has decreased, current has decreased over here. And what can you tell about charge on the capacitor? The charge has increased. So in what is happening in the circuit is the current has been decreased, the current is slowly decreasing, and the charge is increasing. The current is decreasing and the charge is increasing. The current is decreasing and the charge is increasing. Okay, this is what you can conclude from this setup. This is what you can conclude for this setup. There is some problem over here, some ghost is there, I feel. This is not the work of ordinary people, this is the work of a ghost. How many of you believe in a ghost? There is a ghost over here which is hindering my lecture, but I will not let that ghost hinder my lecture. So this is VR, VR is V minus Q by C, correct? This is I is equals to the potential difference divided by R. Done. Current is decreasing and charge is increasing. Current is decreasing and charge is increasing. So after a very long time, what will happen? The charge on the capacitor which would have become full. That is over here. Let us assume it as capital Q, and that capital Q will make sure, or that capital Q will be achieved when the voltage across the capacitor would have reached V. When the voltage across that capacitor would have reached V. Okay, so let us check out the third stage as well. So finally at t equals to infinity, after a very long time, the system will look something like this. After a very long time, the system will become something like this. This is my capacitor, this is my resistor, this is my battery. Capacitor, resistor, battery. Okay, now the charge which has been accumulated over here is plus capital Q minus capital Q, and because of this, the potential which is there across this is V. Now this full voltage V has come across this capacitor. Only then it will become fully charged. And at this point, the voltage across this capacitor over here, if we consider 0, this will be V. This is also V, and voltage across this capacitor is now also V. The voltage across capacitor is now also V. So if you see this resistor now, then voltage across this resistor is 0. At this final stage, at this final steady state, the voltage across this resistor has become 0. The voltage across this resistor has become 0. Hence, the current flowing in this circuit finally has become 0, and the charge which is there on the capacitor has become final charge Q, which is equals to C into V. This is the final charge, this is the final current. This is the final charge and this is the final current. So what has happened over here is the charge has slowly increased to the maximum value, which is C into V. Capacitance multiplied by the voltage of battery which you have applied for this process. The charge has become maximum and the current has become 0. The charge has become maximum from 0 and current has become 0 from maximum. Maximum value of current was flowing initially, V by R, and now the current has become 0. Completely gone. So this is how, or this is the brief idea about how the charging is taking place in reality. Now over here we can divide this discussion into two parts. One is the part which is intermediate, okay, where the charging is still taking place, and the other part is the one which is after the charging has been done, okay, after the steady state has been reached. Okay, so there are two parts of discussion. One is intermediate and the other one is after steady state. Okay, so we will be discussing this chapter, we will be discussing from now onwards in two parts. First we will discuss the steady state, that is the part after steady state is reached, after the charge has been accumulated, after the current has ceased. Okay, that is what we are going to study first. Okay, after that we are going to discuss about intermediate steps. In intermediate steps, the question will be like this, that what is the charge present on the plate at time t equal to 10 seconds, what is the charge present in the on the plate after 1 hour. Like these questions will be there in the intermediate part, and for steady state part you will be just asked what is the charge on the plate finally. Okay, finally what is there, that is the, those are the questions which will come under steady state analysis. So first we will do steady state analysis, then we will do intermediate steps analysis. Okay, now while doing steady state analysis, one small approximation or one small thing we do, generally what we do is, in books also they do like this only, what they do is they don't mention R. This circuit which I have drawn over here, this circuit over here can also be drawn like this. V over here, C over here, over here it will be charge will be plus CV, and this side charge will be minus CV. This side charge will be minus CV. Okay, we can also draw this circuit like this only after steady state is reached. Why? Because after steady state is reached, the current will stop flowing. And if the current has stopped flowing, then after current has stopped flowing, then there is no use of resistor. There is no need of resistor. So we can neglect the resistor. There is no need of resistor now. Okay. So whenever we do steady state analysis, you will not see resistor, but that does not mean that resistor was not there. Resistor was there, but now the work of resistor has been ended. So we don't need to draw resistor. We can simply draw capacitor directly. Okay. We can simply draw capacitor directly. Now the questions which are generally asked over here. So three major questions which you will get in this part in steady state analysis. First question will be, what is the final charge on the capacitor? Okay, these are the most important questions which you will be getting on the in the steady state analysis part, First is, what will be the final charge over here on the capacitor? Then what is the energy stored in the capacitor? Then what is the work done by battery? Then what is the heat produced? Over here, finally we are not drawing the resistor, but actually it is there, right? Actually in reality it is there. So if it is there, it will produce heat also. So what is the heat produced by that? Okay, so these are the most important questions which we are going to discuss over here. Okay, but to discuss these, let us first discuss, before discussing these, let us first discuss a little bit about battery as well. Okay, otherwise it will be a little difficult for us to understand these questions. Okay, let us do a small discussion on battery first. So we'll write the heading battery. Okay, so in battery we have already discussed one part, that if the current is flowing like this, the battery is consuming power, and if the current is flowing like this, then the battery is giving power. This we have already discussed. This is I, this is V, this is I, this is V. Okay, and the power over here will be given by V into I. In this case it will be taken by battery. It is the charging circuit. This circuit is the charging circuit, taken by battery. Over here it is given by battery. This is the discharging circuit. First one is the charging circuit, second one is the discharging circuit. For both of them, power can be written by V into I. One will take power, the other one will give power. Okay, now this VI, if I want to discuss about energy, what will I write? Power multiplied by time, or VIT, or VQ by T, because current is nothing but charge per unit time multiplied by T. So T and T will get cancelled and we will get V into Q. So the energy which I am getting is V into Q. The energy which I am getting over here for battery is V into Q, and it is actually this. Why did I do like this? Because right now I am not doing the discussion with respect to current. I am doing the discussion with respect to charge. So this is the better formula for me for battery. Okay, so now what I can do is I can say that if a charge Q is passing like this, is going like this through a battery V, then this will give energy Q into V to the battery. this will give energy Q into V to the battery. Okay, so over here the energy is given to the battery. Similarly, over here, if the charge is passing like this, then energy will be given by the battery. So work done over here by the battery, will be minus Q into V or V into Q, and work done by the battery in this case, will be plus Q into V, So if the battery is consuming energy, it will be minus QV. If the battery is consuming energy, it will be minus QV. If the battery is giving energy, it will be plus QV. This you can also understand by simply writing the potentials over here. So if you write zero potential over here it will be V potential, because you are crossing the battery of V voltage. Okay, so if the charge is going from higher potential to lower potential, the energy is decreased, the work done will be negative. And from over here, this is my zero potential and this is my V potential. If the charge is going in this direction now, so the energy will increase by QV amount. Okay, over here work done will be positive. Now. Okay, work done is going to be positive. So this is the discussion which you have to be clear if you want to find out these last two parts, heat and work done by battery. You cannot find out if you are not clear with this concept. Okay, this is very important if you want to find out all these parts carefully. Okay, now let us start with a question. Okay, first let us discuss for this general setup itself. Okay, in this general setup, when my final charge has become C, my final charge has become C, my final charge has become C, this first part is already done, right? This charge Q, this final charge Q, I have already figured out is plus CV and minus CV. This final charge Q I have already figured out is plus CV and minus CV. So over here, let me write final charge Q is CV. Okay, and whenever I talk about the charge on the parallel plate capacitor, then this charge is positive plate charge. Because overall, if you see, the charge is 0, plus Q on one plate, minus Q on the other plate. So in total, the charge is 0. So whenever I am talking about a parallel plate capacitor, please remember this charge will be charge on positive plate. Charge on positive plate. Okay, this will be charge on positive plate. So first part is done. Then energy stored in the capacitor. I can directly write using the formula half CV square. So energy over here will become half CV square. Done. Second part is also done for this. Then third part, work done by battery. So to find out work done by battery, you have to just figure out what is the charge which is crossing the battery. So over here, initially the charge was 0 on the capacitor. Finally, the charge has become plus Q. So what is happening over here is the battery, through this battery, total capital Q charge has flown. Okay, from this plate, what battery is doing is, from this plate it is taking charge and it is accumulating the charge over here, and it is doing it in small amount of charges. Okay, but overall the charge which is passing through the battery is capital Q. So the work done by battery can be simply written as capital Q into V. This is my third part. This is the work done by battery. This will be work done by battery. Okay, work done by battery. This case, second case. Okay, work is not done on the battery. Work is being done by the batteries. That's why I have written positive. Work is done by the battery. Now heat. Next is heat. So heat is basically whatever work you are doing. Over here, if you see, the work done is coming Q into V. The work done is over here is coming Q into V. Let us write it in terms of C also. So Q can be written as C into V. So this will become CV square. It will become CV square. So work done by battery is becoming CV square. But after doing this much work, the energy which is being stored in the capacitor is only half CV square. Check it out. The battery is doing the work CV square, but the energy which is stored in the battery is only half CV square. Okay, so where is the rest? Where is the rest? The rest is gone in heat. The rest is gone in heat. And who took this heat? Who is responsible for this heat? This resistor. This resistor is the one which is responsible for this heat. Okay, so heat over here can be simply written as work done by battery, okay, minus work done by battery subtracted energy on capacitor. Work done by battery minus energy on capacitor. Work done by battery minus energy on capacitor. Okay, so if you use this formula over here, work done by battery is CV square, energy stored by the capacitor finally is half CV square. So half CV square is gone as heat. Half CV square is gone as heat. So over here heat is CV square minus half CV square. So that is half CV square. Half CV square or Q square by 2C. Q square by 2C. Okay, whatever you want to write, or whatever in whichever form the question is asked. Okay, so these are all the parts which can be figured out like this. Okay, these are the parts which can be figured out like this. But this formula heat is equals to work done by battery minus energy on capacitor is not the very general formula. It is not very general formula. There is one more formula which will be more general. Okay, now that why am I saying this is not the general formula, this is not the most general formula? Because right now what we are doing is we are taking a uncharged capacitor. Over here what we have done is we have initially taken an uncharged capacitor, but sometimes what we do is, sometimes in numericals what you are going to get is a charged capacitor will be put over here in this situation. So if the capacitor already have a charge, then it means that capacitor already have a energy. Are you getting it? So this time the energy which was initially there is not zero. Are you getting it? So the energy which is finally given by this battery will be only final energy of the capacitor minus initial energy of the capacitor. Try to understand. If my capacitor already have a charge, or if my capacitor already have an energy before connecting over here, then in that case the final energy will remain this only. The final energy will remain this only, half CV square. But initially it is not zero. So the gain in energy which is there in the capacitor is not only the gain in energy in this case will not be half CV square. It will be half CV square, that is the final energy, subtracting the initial energy. So the more general formula, again this is happening. So the more general formula, this was work done by battery subtracted energy stored in the capacitor, energy of the capacitor. Okay, this is the formula. Okay, this is the formula over here. But the more general formula will be, the more general formula for heat will be work done by battery minus the net gain in energy, which will be final energy minus initial energy. If initial energy is zero, if initial charge is zero, initial energy will be zero. And if initial energy is zero, EI is zero, then the formula will become work done by battery minus energy in capacitor, that is E final. Okay, so this is the more general formula which you can remember, because sometimes the initial energy will also be there, because the charge on the capacitor initially will not be zero. Okay, will not be zero. So this is the more general formula which you can remember. Now let us try to solve one numerical based on that. Okay, so over here one capacitor of 2 microfarad is attached to a battery of 10 volt at t equal to 0. Okay, this switch is closed at t equal to 0. Initially the charge on the capacitor is 0, so initial energy over here is given 0. So over here what we have to find is the same questions. Final charge we have to find, energy stored over here in the capacitor we have to find, work done by battery we have to find, and heat we have to find. Okay, so charge accumulated over here finally. First part is charge accumulated finally, Q, which will be equal to C into V. Over here C is given as 2 microfarad, 2 into 10 to the power minus 6 multiplied by voltage is given 10 volt, voltage is given 10 volt. So this will become how much? This will become 20 microcoulomb. This will become 20 microcoulomb. You can write it in coulomb also as 20 into 10 to the power minus 6 coulomb. Okay, but I am writing it in microcoulombs only. Okay, so this will become 20 microcoulomb. This will become 20 microcoulomb. What is this? This is the final charge. Okay, next we have to find the total energy. So total energy in the capacitor will be half CV square, half CV square. So half into 2 microfarad multiplied by V square, multiplied by V square. V over here is 10. So 10 square you have to write over here. Or you can also use the formula, half Q square by C. So Q square over here will be how much? 20 is the Q, right? So 20 microcoulomb Q square by C, which is 2 microfarad. 2 microfarad. Okay, so you have to just take care of the units. Okay, take care of the units. Micro is 10 to the power minus 6. So if you take care of the units and if you solve this expression, you will get the total energy stored in the capacitor. This will give you the total energy stored in the capacitor. Next thing will be work done by battery. Next part is work done by battery. Next part will be work done by battery. Work done by battery, how will you write? So first you have to figure out what is the charge flowing through the battery. So as soon as you close the switch, the charge will start flowing, and it will flow until the charge on the plates has become 20 microcoulomb. So finally the charge on the plate will look something like this. Over here plus 20 microcoulomb and over here minus 20 microcoulomb. Okay, so how much charge has flown? The charge which has flown through here is actually 20 microcoulomb. The charge which has flown over here is 20 microcoulomb. So work done by battery can simply be written as 10 into 20 microcoulomb. So 10 into 20 microcoulomb, 10 multiplied by 20 microcoulomb will give you the work done by the battery in this case. Okay, then next part will be heat generated. Next part will be heat generated. So heat generated will be what? So this is the work done by battery, and this is the energy stored in the capacitor. Initially there was no energy, so heat generated can be figured out directly by subtracting work done by battery and energy which is finally stored in the capacitor, because there is no initial energy. So if you subtract these two, if you do this 10 into 20 microcoulomb, or this 10 volt into 20 microcoulomb minus this expression, you will get the heat generated over here. Okay, and please take care of the units over here. Work done will come in microjoules. Over here work done will be coming in microjoules. 200 microjoules. Okay, 200 microjoules. Okay, so please take care of the units. Do not mess up with the units, otherwise your answer will be wrong. So take care of the units. So this is all for this video, guys. I hope you liked this video. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video, and let's meet in the next video. Bye bye. Take care.